That was a musical interlude by Wale Oni. He's a Yamaha ambassador. And we're now going to a discussion to talk about the season on this special edition of Sunrise, the Christmas edition. Apparently the last one for the year, right?
Yeah.
So joining us for this conversation on giving, we have EA Jonathan Ichabe. She's the co-founder, Empowerment Foundation. You're welcome.
CISO Empowerment Foundation.
You're welcome very much.
Thank you very much.
And also, she's joined by Modupe Asama. She's a social activist, and you had a special project, the Christmas
With a smile.
with a Smile. You'll be talking to us much more about that. But let me start with you, Ma. What's the significance of giving for you?
I think for me, giving is really what human nature is about. We're created to be givers. I know we have this injunction in Christianity. It says it's more blessed to give than to receive. But one thing I found is that giving actually completes you as a person. And giving is not just giving money, because sometimes we always think it's about giving money. Oh, I don't have money. I think Helen said something earlier that you be giving, you don't have to give, but you be giving. You know, but it's so much more than that. It's really about giving of yourself to somebody, kindness. It doesn't have to be money. It can be a smile. It can be a kind word. I've been on a bus once with a conductor. He was yelling at everybody, and I just smiled at him, and I offered him some fried yam, and he became my best friend on that bus, you know. So it's really not about... Sorry?
Did you pay the fare?
I paid it. He still collected the fare.
Collected money from you.
He still collected. But it's funny, when I dropped, he said, bye. But, you know, it's really about, you know, just stopping focusing on yourself. That's because sometimes we tend to just be so self-focused. I've got my issues, I've got my problems, especially in a country like ours where there's just so much going on. If it's not NEPA, it's one health issue, it's one light issue, it's traffic, it's something else. So it's really about taking the focus off of yourself and focusing on other people. That's what it means for me.
What about you, Modupe?
Well, before Modupe, I just want to say that, well, you mentioned NEPA, and every time I hear NEPA, I get really excited. Well, NEPA is giving us some power this season, aren't they? Yes. So that's part of the act of giving. Thank you, NEPA, or whatever you call yourselves these days. But please, can the trend continue after Christmas?
Amen to that. Amen to that.
It's okay. Power during celebration is guaranteed. Maybe power after, we don't know. But Modupe, you want to tell us about giving? Why is it necessary to give at a particular season? Why can't it be our culture every day? I mean, is it because things are hard and nobody's smiling?
Okay. Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I would say, like she said, giving is an act of kindness. You care about someone and you want to give your all to show that you really do appreciate the person. And in the last conversation we had when we had the other session, we had while someone was talking and he said that from January to December, you already are thanking God for keeping you alive. You're thanking God for something. You've worked so hard from January. That's why we see a lot of people say, oh, I've worked so hard since January. This is December. I need to give myself a treat. And you know where a whole lot of us can afford to give ourselves a treat, travel out of the country, go to a resort, you know, relax and do some other things. There's some people out there who do not have at all, who cannot afford something, who from January till that December where we are smiling, it has been the same old story for them. So giving is just something you want to do because you feel it's necessary to make somebody smile. You think you just want to make this person happy. As much as you're happy, you don't have everything, but at some point you're happy with what you have and you want to thank God, you want to appreciate people, you want people to smile the same way you are smiling.
Now, staying with you, Modupe, you had a special Christmas program. What did you call it again?
Christmas with a smile. Christmas
with a smile. Now, tell us a little bit about that. We don't have too much time, just in a nutshell. What is Christmas in a Smile all about?
It started last year. I volunteer for a different organization, and I also work with a non-governmental organization. And growing up wasn't so good for me. I had ups and downs growing up, I know where situations where you don't have Christmas clothes to wear, and some other kids are happy, you know, smiling and, you know, playful and everything.
And for kids, that
for
Christmas
kids,
dress
it's very
is
important for them.
important.
And parents look forward to, how can I afford to get this for this child? How can I afford to, you know, be able to put smile on my child's face? And they also so hard to make it happen. So last year, I thought about it that I've actually always had it in mind to give at a point in my life, whether it's Christmas or anything. But I felt Christmas is actually a season where I could actually do more and put smile on kids' faces. So last year, we decided to do a Monkey Village in Okpebi, Ikeja, which was where we started from.
Monkey Village.
Monkey Village in Ikeja. A lot of people didn't believe there was somewhere like a slum in Ikeja. Last year, it was tagged Christmas in the slum. But this year, we decided to change the name and not use the word slum. So we changed it to Christmas with a Smile. So it started last year, where I had to get some people to volunteer, my friends to volunteer, and got in touch with family members, aunties, uncles, to support, because there wasn't time, and we didn't even have a platform where we could go to let's say companies, private sectors to seek support and funds. So we just had to get our family friends, our loved ones to tell them about Christmas in the slum as at that time, to beg them to support us with whatever they have, bag of rice. And with that, it went a long way, because we're able to get family and friends to give us money.
So you go to the slum, well, pardon the use of the word again. You go to the slum and you actually give them food.
Yeah.
It's food that you give, only food?
No, not just food. Last year, like I said, family and friends, so there are limited things you can get from family and friends. So we got rice, bags of rice, so we were able to cook for the children, got sanitary towels for teenage girls. We got, last year we got cooked meal for children. We bought souvenirs like wristwatch, sunglasses, items that small children could play with. We got it for the kids. Then for the mothers, we got the raw food, like rice, groundnut oil, Maggi, salt, sugar. And we also got people to give us their clothes, dry cleaned, packaged clothes for children, women, and men as well.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And inspiring.
Well done.
Thank you
Ndukwe.
very much.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now, that thing about giving from nothing, you don't have. In other words, is it possible? Is it what difference does it make to the one who gives? And then, the double-barrel question. There are those who feel like the rich don't need anything. They don't need to be given anything. In fact, they're the ones that are supposed to be giving to the poor. But should that always be the case?
Definitely not. I mean, in my experience, first, giving blesses you. And even for those who feel they do not have, in our organization, we work with internally displaced people. And when we first started in 2014, reaching out to people who were up in the Northeast, in the North Central, when we went to them and we'd raise all this money and go and give food or whatever, until today we continue to do that. What struck me was, in every camp or community we went to, they were not touched by the gifts we brought. They were like, do you mean people in southern Nigeria realize and recognize what is happening and they remember us? So for that, giving is about, I recognize your humanity. We have a common humanity. We have a mutual respect, affection, love for each other, a recognition that we're all made in God's image and we're all deserving of each other, giving ourselves each other, giving our gifts. So I found that in every community we've gone to, whether it's Ayla in Agatu or whether it is Newman in Adamawa or wherever, for me, the main thing, and always tell you, they'll say, thank you, you've not forgotten us. For me, that's always been the most amazing thing about giving. So to your question about people who we think are rich, for me, riches is not about money necessarily. You can be very rich money-wise. We know a lot of people who are lonely, both rich or poor. We know rich people who commit suicide. We read about those all the time, and poor people who commit suicide. Sadly, that's on the increase in Nigeria, suicide. And a lot of that comes from us not connecting with each other and giving ourselves of each other. I would say one thing, please, that we're very connected on social media. Well, how many of us, for example, have taken time? You can give of your time. Just go and visit a friend. How many of us have done that? Because we're so now used to doing WhatsApp, da-da-da-da. But just Christmas season, there may be people we've not seen for a long time. All they want to see is just your face at their house, a hello. You know, that could make the difference between life and death for people. So I know a lot of rich people who don't even have many friends. They don't trust people. They stay on their own. Sometimes you give them even just a bottle of wine or a gift, and they get so excited. One thing I will say, please, to my sisters, my ladies, my brothers, or rather my sisters' friends, you know, female friends, we're very used to receiving gifts from our brothers and from our men folk, you know. But one thing I've learned, we have International Men's Day, we have different things. You know, when you surprise the guy with a gift, doesn't have to be anything major. I remember once buying beer for a group of friends. I just said, let me buy you a drink. These guys, they were so excited. Some of them were 60 years and older. And one of them said, no woman had ever bought him a drink in his life.
Wow.
I was shocked. But it's amazing, you know, those little things. So it's not about
Little
having a lot of money.
But what
you
about
know?
people that receive handkerchief and white handkerchief and singlets as gifts?
It's the thoughts that
dances.
count.
It's the thought that counts.
Okay. So I want to do something in the spirit of giving, because I do know we have a studio audience that many of them haven't even said hello to the person sitting beside them. So can you just give your neighbor a smile or
And
something?
give your neighbor your ATM card. You can give your neighbor your ATM card. Nothing spoiled.
Without the pin.
Okay. No. Okay. So
Without the pin,
so
right?
Frank Donga said you should give your neighbor your
Share,
ATM card.
card.
share your ATM
But don't
card with
give-
your neighbor.
Don't
Don't
give
give
the
the
pin.
season of giving.
With the
Share your
pin.
ATM card.
But
Sorry,
Modupe,
one other thing I want to actually say, just
yes,
on giving.
please. Yes.
I mean, one thing I want to say on giving and about Nigerians, you know, people have this view that Nigerians do not give.
That's
That
not
is
true.
not true.
It's not true.
We give a lot to our families, to our friends, but I can tell you as a charity organization, most of our donations come from Nigerians and voluntarily, and they give all year round. So it's not just at Christmas or Easter or whatever. So I have to say, even in the increasing poverty, Nigerians are still sacrificing to give. So we do a lot of giving. So that's something I think we should applaud ourselves on, the Nigerians.
Modupe, before Frank winds down, what more can we do to encourage those who give and feel like they don't get anything back? In other words, if you say giving is part of recognition of humanity, they give, they continue giving, and they don't seem to get anything back. How do we encourage them to give more?
Okay, I'm going to start with this. Last year, when we were planning to have Christmas with a smile, a day to Christmas in the slum, then I lost my mom. So it didn't stop me from doing what I was supposed to do. Like, we were planning, we already had everything set out. My friend is here, Sheung, and I had to hand everything over to her. I was supposed to pick up some stuff from some places, and I got the call that my mom slept and she didn't wake up again. So I had to rushed home, called her to tell her that you have to keep up with this thing. We have to do this, because at that time, it was our first edition and we were just trying out things. So I had to tell her that, please, I need you to keep up with this. I need you to make sure this stuff does not flop. The next day I went there. I was supposed to go with my siblings, but because we had visitors who came to pay condolence and all, and my dad said, you guys have to go, you just have to be there. And I remember that my mom, before she died, always wanted to give. Even as at that time when she was sick, she was clamoring and she wished she could go. She didn't know she was going to die. She gave her clothes, like her good clothes. She gave them out to me and said I should give it out. She was telling people about it, that if they can attend, they should please go there to encourage us and all. And on that Saturday, I had to go there. I was there. So you imagine last year, this year, it's a remembrance. Supposed to be a remembrance. I still gave up that day. And I pleaded with my family to please let us go again and postpone our remembrance till Sunday, which they agreed. Getting there, we did a whole lot of things. We had stuff, we gave, and this year was even fantastic because we had Domino's Pizza support, you know, families and all, and we gave a whole lot of things, but it was surprising at the responses we got from some people. Bariga was where we did this year, and it was amazing that if you hear about Bariga, you can tell the kind of people that are there, talk less of the marginalized people. And you know, they were almost going to put these things in our faces to tell us that
I wish I
what
could.
is this? We are not here for
We
the
have
money.
to.
There's something we can take away from this is that Nigerians, despite the challenges we have, we are givers. I think that
So
is
we don't,
commendable.
we don't.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
That was Modupe Asama and
Thank you.
Jonathan Ishave. Thank you very much for discussing your giving.
Sorry, can I make an appeal? Do we have time?
In half a minute.
Okay.
Half a minute. Encourage giving. Nigerian government, for goodness sake, give tax relief to people who make donations. Please.
Wow. Thank you very much. Put your hands together for them. We're going to go on a short break now. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. We'll be right back with you after the short break. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.